So you know what I was thinking about the other day? During the coronavirus, I talked to so many people and they were like, I gotta grow a garden this year. We're gonna run out of food. And I was like, that's a great idea. Where are those people? There's been something on my mind lately, and actually for a few years now, but definitely in the last couple of weeks. Something that I think needs to be discussed and something that I think I need to tell people so I can help them. And today I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why I believe most people should start growing their own food. When I order groceries online and go to the store to pick them up, I often get a message saying, we're out of this product, we're out of that product. It's concerning because these are things that have never been out of stock as far as I can remember. If you raise your own food, especially the things that have been going out of stock more often, that's less of a worry or a concern for you. Reason number 2, it's money. You will save hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars every year by not going to the grocery store to buy all of your food. Lettuce heads. I'm going to use this as an example because it's very simple for us to understand. If you go to the store and purchase a head of lettuce, it's anywhere between $2 and $3 usually, depending if it's organic or what store or what part of the country and what season you're in. So $2.50. Keep that in your brain somewhere. Don't forget that number, $2.50. When you actually purchase a packet of lettuce heads, there's different kinds, but lettuce heads, let's say, there's hundreds of seeds in that packet. But for math, let's just say there's only 100. So you're probably not going to plant that many, or maybe you don't have enough room to plant that many. So maybe you just choose to plant 30. And let's pretend everything goes well and they all germinate and whatever. So you've got 30 heads of lettuce. Multiply 30 by $2.50. What do you get? Well, when I did the math, I got $75. But when you buy the packet of seeds, they're usually $2 for the packet, at least the ones that I just bought. So you paid $2 for $75 worth of lettuce that you'd get at the store. I can say the same thing about apples. I can say the same thing about tomatoes, even potatoes. There's a lot of cheap vegetables and crops out there. There's a lot of expensive ones as well. So you might want to consider what the most expensive crops are in the store that you like to eat and consume as a family, and start growing your own. Reason number 3 is also pretty obvious. It's about health. The food you grow at your house is most likely going to be better than the stuff you get at the store. Even when you buy organic food from the store, it's going to be better from your house because it's local, you know how it's raised, you know that you're not cheating the system by using fertilizers that shouldn't be in there. 40 years ago, I don't know if you knew this or not, but 40 years ago in the US, the average person was spending 18% of their income on food. If you think of what you spend on food now, not including inflation and recent problems, but just think of how much you spend on groceries in comparison to your entire income monthly. 40 years ago, that's what the average person in the United States did. They spent 18% of their income on their food and 9% on healthcare. Today, it's the exact opposite. We spend about 18% of our income on healthcare and only 9% on food. But that's shocking how those two numbers inverted that way. Reason number 4, I really like this one. It's peace of mind. This is especially important if you're providing for a family. If you're married and your spouse depends on you, if your children are depending on you, you're gonna have peace of mind knowing that you have canning jars filled in your pantry. You can be pretty relaxed when you have 80 pounds of potatoes in your basement, 60 pounds of squash, a freezer full of chicken, a whole bunch of eggs that you preserved from last summer that you raised yourself from the chickens that you bought. That's going to be something that adds a lot of value to your life as well. Reason number 5 is probably the best reason. And maybe you disagree with me, that's okay. But I believe when you grow your own food and you choose to have the lifestyle to do so, and you get your family involved, and you encourage younger generations to do the same thing, and you teach values while you're doing that, you know what that does? That develops your character. And let me tell you something, when you start growing your own food, it develops your character in ways that you couldn't even imagine. You're gonna have problems that you haven't needed to solve in the past, that now you need to problem solve, work together maybe as a family unit, especially you and your spouse, but how are you gonna overcome those problems growing food? It could be the fact that your chickens are randomly dying and you don't know why and you need to solve that issue, but it's going to teach you to overcome some things that you never had to deal with. I think we can also agree to a certain extent, getting involved as a family, doing things together as a family doesn't always need to be a Disney cruise. It can be growing a garden, planning it out. I think of garden prep, how your garden's going to be designed for the upcoming growing season, prepping the garden, putting down the compost. You go to the part where you sow the seeds and you put your plants in the ground. Now imagine your children are there with you, seeing and learning how this works. You get to harvest. You get to manage your garden, trimming back some plants and whatever it takes to manage your garden in that particular growing season. And then you harvest your garden as a family. It's safe. It's a healthy activity. You're doing things together as a family. At the same time, you're being productive. I think there's a lot of value in that as well. Then you get to eat fresh food from your garden as a family. And then you get to preserve the food for many, many months to come. I don't see the downside in any of this. I only see positives. So what's stopping people from growing their own food? I think a lot of it is they're scared because they don't have the knowledge. I think of a lot of it is, they're afraid of change and doing new things, and I get it. I've never regretted growing anything. I've never had a bad experience doing it. There's certain things I'm not going to grow again, but the big elephant in the room, I think, because of so many people living in cities and in apartments, they say, where am I supposed to grow my own food? That there's a lot of people that are master urban gardeners that have a very small space that grow tons of food, whether that be on their balcony in containers. Consider vertical gardening to save space. That's great for pests. You get good airflow. It's easier to harvest. There's a lot of benefits to vertical gardening. Plastic containers that you use for storage in your basement. Well, put a couple potatoes in there and see how much you can get. 5-gallon buckets, a community garden. Maybe you can rent a space communally in your hometown or in your city. There's lots of places. There's a lot of YouTube channels that teach you how to raise food in a very small area. Consider square foot gardening, for example. Now is a better time than ever to grow your own food. It could be something really simple like this. Check this out. These are just blueberry bushes. We have one there, and then we've got one over there, and we protect it from the deer with this. Look at this over here. Tap your own maple syrup. I mean, it's really easy to do. There's cheap ways to do it. That one's dripping right now. It's running pretty well, as you can see. Plant some apple trees. Once you plant them, you basically just walk away. Raspberry bushes. Down the side of my yard over there, I have tons of raspberries and blackberries that grow. I didn't plant them, they're just there. So there's endless options about growing your own food. There was a lady in Canada. She wanted to garden so bad. She wanted to grow her own food so bad. She went to a local neighborhood, I guess, because she had zero room. She had like a little apartment, maybe not even a balcony, like literally no outside space. She ended up going to this neighborhood and asking people, well, if she could garden in their backyards. But this was done in town with people, with grass, with regular lawns, probably like you have. And she just went around to all these people. She became so successful at this and it caught on so much. She was managing dozens of yards. It became her full-time job. She started selling produce to restaurants, farmers markets, individual buyers. It was incredible. She quit her day job because she started growing so much food on her own from people she's never met before because she was determined to do something she believed in. Well, it's really neat. I thought I would share that with you. Maybe you grow your own food already and you're a homesteader or a farmer, and that's great. I'm so happy to hear that. But you probably need to share this video with someone you've been talking to that you believe needs to be inspired or encouraged to do so. Maybe they haven't broken down the reasons why it's important to raise their own food, the 5 reasons I gave you earlier. Share this video with them. Ask them to consider watching it with an open mind, because there's a good chance you already know why it's good to grow your food, but other people may not know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again.